Bianca, talking all things GV Suns Soccer Club or Football Club here. What's been going on down there?
All right, so we've got some positives and negatives. To start off with, last week, unfortunately, we did have a loss, but nothing to dishearten our boys. It was 3-0 down. We did play away, and while the boys really did stick to their game plan, unfortunately, they just couldn't bring home the chocolates. Whittlesea was the team that we played last week, and they played a lot of long ball football. I think the defence really had to kind of reposition themselves a little bit, but they just... you can't... It's definitely not one person's fault. As for the 3-0 loss, they played very well collectively as a unit, but there were just little things that they had to change up in the game last week, which they probably haven't done, and that's why... after they hit us on the break the first time...
any goal on the break's always a hard one to...
Yeah, but all three were the same way.
Oh, no, so that's nearly criminal.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you need to learn from your mistakes there. And one thing that's a pet hate of mine is when you actually see the boys playing the blame game on the pitch.
That's the worst thing any team can do. Once you start individualising someone out, that's your problem, that sends a bad message through not only what's going on the field now, but it sends a bad message to those that are on the bench and your spectators watching, and that's something you can't be doing right across. So that's a big pet hate of mine too. As a collective, we have to look at it together and go, right, we've made a mistake here, now we need to rectify. Right, two of us can't go at this challenge, or however it went down last week.
Even if it is that the striker's too fast for a certain defender, pick up on that. Okay, if they're beating this player for pace, change it up. Change
someone else who might have that little bit of pace to carry on with it. It's little things. Back when I was playing school soccer, there was a side that we used to come up against, and every time we scored, it was the side I always enjoyed because they started doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. Once we scored, it wasn't put down to the back four, or those ones failed as a collective. It was always individualised out to one person, and I thought, well, gee, if anyone pointed me out like that, just doesn't. Not only does my confidence no good, it makes you look bad in front of everyone else,
definitely.
and you can't be doing that as a team. You got to all is one and one for all.
And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like our boys were having a full argument on the pitch or anything like that. It's just the little comments. I mean, there are players in our team, and 100% I love it when I see Jordan Barrow or Jamie England really fire up the boys. I love it, and I always say that. But there's the constructive, and then there's the blame game. And that's what I don't like. But in saying that, we definitely had a lot of opportunities we were unable to put away. One thing that myself and the under-20s coach, Stuart Vance, did notice is that some of the players that probably should have been making runs into the box, and I mean runs all day, they've got the pace, they've got the stamina, they should be able to do it. They were probably a little bit flat-footed. And that's something that as spectators, a collective of us, we all saw that. And the thing is, if you're a striker that's running into the box and you've already got someone that's standing on the penalty spot, whoever's standing on the penalty spot should be able to be aware of this player running in and should be able to drop back to the back post. When they drop back to the back post, you then get them drawing the defender out with them and giving the player that's running into the box free opportunity. So it's about noticing and picking up on where those plays can be made, and not doing it all the time because then the other team pick up on it, but picking and choosing the right times.
Just pick the right time for the right ball coming in. Yeah, so, you might look at one ball coming down the wing and go, nah, it's not going to be a problem. But then there's other times, any good defender will tell you that you can pick it straight away. A good goalkeeper will be able to point the same thing out as well.
And if you see... depending on the team that you're playing, they may not be as switched on as what we are. So if you do see a player like Craig Carley dropping to the back post, the defender's going to be like, this guy knows exactly where this ball's about to go. I'm dropping with him. unaware that you've got someone like a low qual
Who's
running
just going to run in and open that space. And how many times have we seen that so far in the World Cup? You know, you're watching, the likes of the French and then the Belgians, that are sneaking, Greitzman's away out the back, and then suddenly someone else who you wouldn't have picked comes in with a roaring header into the back of the net. Like, this has been stuff that's been going on, at a world level.
Simple football.
It's not hard, is it? Even you can relate it across to all sports, I suppose. You take your main man, and all right, you've taken two blokes away, opens a space out for someone else that they haven't planned for.
So last week as well, a bit of comic relief, I guess you could say. The referee tackled Matt.
Oh, did he?
Okay, so what's happened is Matt is doing exactly as we're saying. He's running in to make an option.
Yep.
And the referee hasn't seen him coming across, and he's taken a step back. Matt
laid him out.
He's laid him out. And Matt said, he's like, come on, ref, you've got to be aware of where I am.
Paid a penalty for that, yeah.
Well, look. The referee paid something. He paid him a yellow card.
Oh, for giving him a mouthful.
Well, he didn't really even give him a mouthful, I don't think. It was more the fact of referee's words to Captain Cody Selwood was, you're lucky I don't send him off for touching the referee.
Oh, no, you can't be serious.
Now
then I would have had an issue.
So, lucky, I've taught him well, he walked away. But
5 years ago, it could have been a different story.
Yeah, that's it. But moving on to this week.
Bit stiff, Matty. I'll defend you on that one, mate.
Yeah, I think everyone was kind of like, did that just happen?
That's very stiff.
Now, keeping on the point of Matt, Eastern Lions this week. If you haven't seen his goal, get on the Facebook page, get on GV Suns, have a look. It's an absolute cracker.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
He's spoke about it every night since, has he?
He hasn't. I've probably talked it up more than what he has. So, but yes, great game this week. We've got, I think, 7th position playing 4th position. The only reason why we're 4th and not 3rd is on goal difference.
Right, I'm with you. Yep.
7th place, you might think Eastern Lions 7th place. This is going to be an easy game.
Well, I said that last week. Oh, I actually said 3-1 last week the other way, not quite the way that it went. So I almost had my goals right, just
the wrong way around. But Eastern Lions, they may be in 7th position, but they're on 23 points and we're on 26.
And that's here at home tonight?
Correct.
Right. Because this is our only game home for July.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
That's insane.
Yeah, but in saying that, look, we've got the last game of the season at home. We've definitely got our fair share of home games, and all of our home games are Saturdays, which
can't complain.
Which we're really happy with as well. So if Eastern Lions win today, they could potentially go from 7th position to 3rd. That's how tight our ladder is.
Wowzers.
Youngster Tyler Seabrooks making his senior debut this week.
Another debut?
Yes.
I like it.
He has scored 2 goals in the last 4 goals in the last 2 games, I'm pretty sure. For the
20s?
For the 20s, we've got Billy Marshall back in, Jamie England back in. This is the game you want to get down to. We've always had close matches with Eastern Lions, and it's going to be a thriller, I think. It's going to be a real good
Another
one.
really good night down here at the Frankie Lagana pitch.
At the Frankie Lagana pitch, correct.
Picked up a red card the other week.
He did.
We did touch on that, Michael and I, at the Frankie Lagana pitch, and he's snagged a red one.
Speaking of that game, I mean...
What went down? Because I know, obviously we didn't have you in here last week, but...
Correct.
What transpired? There was more cards than a deck at Crown Casino in Melbourne.
I've never been more excited watching a game. It felt like I was at the MCG watching...
90,000 people.
It was absolutely electric. And the end of this game, we had 9 players on the pitch. And yes, we came out with a draw, but we deserved that win. And I rarely say that you deserve the win, because I do, as much as people say a score didn't reflect the game, obviously you've made errors somewhere which has let the other team come through that way. But the score did not reflect the game. I mean, in the last 10 minutes, we probably had about 5 shots on target where the keeper has just scooped it up somewhere. A low qual literally at one point was horizontal Superman position, jumping over someone. And, I mean, it's just, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, to be honest with you. And the crowd were just getting behind our boys. Unfortunately, we did get 2 red cards. The first one was to our goalkeeper. And the reason why that was is because he picked the ball up outside the box.
Way outside the box.
And
why?
I think at the end of it, he saw where he was and he knew he had to grab it, but I don't think he realised a red card was coming his way. I think he was happy to take the yellow card and a free kick outside the box rather than...
Because that's I still put it in the same box of the old deliberate handball from a defender inside the box. It has to be a red card. You're stopping that clear-cut chance. I'm not saying it definitely was a clear-cut chance.
No, it was.
It was a clear-cut chance.
Yeah.
So then that's...
And that's it.
Your
and
ownership sunk.
I think, and I've seen it happen before at Shep South. I actually saw a goalkeeper step outside the box with the ball in his hand, and he didn't realise that he'd stepped outside the box, and he's looked down, and and the striker said, "Ref, he's outside the box," and the keeper's looked down. And he's just realised, and he's so angry in himself because he didn't realise where he was. And that was a red card.
Oh, really? Something as basic as that?
Something as basic as that. So...
I would have thought if you made a genuine mistake like that, you might get a yellow and a warning.
But no. He got red carded for that one there. So, I mean, it's being aware as well. And, I mean, we had our young Lucas Enders come on. And, oh, my days, I think we were more getting around Lucas than the rest of the boys, I'm not going to lie. Awesome. Lucas pulled some saves out that I did not expect a senior keeper to come up with. I was like, this kid is on fire. I turned around to Fraser, who ended up sitting next to me, and I said, Fraser, good luck getting back in the side, mate, because he's killing it. And, he did a great, great job. And that's what we want to see as well. We love seeing these young kids step up. Like we've got Tyler
in crisis,
this.
You need a...
Do you know what? Like, I remember last year Lucas sitting on the bench in the seniors, and it was because Declan Mariano was red carded in the 20s. So Lucas had to sit on the bench in the seniors, and our senior goalkeeper got red carded, and he had to go on last year. And Lucas was like, I'm so nervous right now. I'm so scared. And seeing that scared little kid last year compared to this dominating kid this year that was like, this is my box, no one's scoring a goal here. It's just great to see it, and it's great to see that the senior team are listening to what he's saying. If he's telling them to shuffle to one side or to push up or whatever it is that he's saying, they're listening to him as well. They're not just saying,
control down back.
Who's this kid? And I love that. I really do.
And that shows the perfect example of teamwork.
Yeah.
And that's what it has to be. If you're not trusting the man behind you who has probably the perfect view of the game, well then, something's going on. But no, if they're listening, that's absolutely awesome. And that would have been a really good game to come down and see. And unfortunately, Michael and I missed it. So
I actually couldn't speak the next day. My throat was sore from screaming so much. Literally get down there tonight because I think it's going to be something quite similar to that. We're really going to be getting around the boys.
Going to be a good one.
Yeah.
The 20s, how did they go last week?
They won last week.
A win. They
had a win.
They won. They won by having a win. So I need to start writing these down. The 20s had a really good win again last week, and they're starting to really tick along with their season.
Yeah, that's it. And so with that as well, we should now, I think we're another week off Joe Worrell back in the side. And their biggest thing now is because Stewie Vance has done such a good job at developing those kids in the 20s. A lot of them, the Fraser Gostre, Alo Quol, Tyler Seabrook, Lucas Enders, they're all stepping up to the seniors now. So, but in saying that, the 20s still aren't dropping off games.
They're still kicking on and hammering them home.
That's exactly right. So Stewie's really, really good at working with the kids that he's got and building up the younger kids into the side now. So there's a few more younger kids that are new faces now, and we're saying, who's that kid? Who's that kid? So that's great to see also.
And the BSAL, how's the BSAL been going?
Last week, Shep United won 2-0 over Eaglehawk. Goals were scored by two former GV Suns.
Here we go.
Nick Calafardis and Mohammed Ramos Al-Ghazali. So that's great to see that they've stepped back into Sunday League and they're still going strong. Shep, an unfortunate loss. This one, Shep's just hurting me this season. 3 to Colts 5. If you score 3 goals, you gotta win.
You gotta win from there.
You gotta win.
Shouldn't be letting 5 in the back of the net, especially after you scored 3.
That's it. And I mean, that definitely says that it comes down to defence, because the strikers are obviously doing their job. The midfielders are doing their job getting the ball to the strikers, but are they doing their job in dropping back and helping the defence? So you can definitely see that that's where they need to work on. Game of the week, Tatura versus South. Tatura came home with the goods, 5 to Shepparton South 4.
Wow.
Yes.
So another very big high-scoring game.
And, I mean, it was a game of 2 hat-tricks. So Tom Leach scored 2 for Tatura, Louis Coyle with 3 for Tatura.
Nice.
And Joel Aiken with 3 for Shep South. So to Willie, I can't say your last name, Willie, I'm really sorry. It's so hard for me to pronounce, but he scored 1.
Nice. I like it.
I don't want to say it wrong. I know what it's like when I hear my last name pronounced wrong, so I'd rather just say Willie.
Well done, Willie.
Then this week we've got Shepparton South versus Epsom away, Tatura versus Golden City away, and the big one is Shepparton United versus Shepparton at McEwen Reserve tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
So another fantastic weekend of football coming up.
It's all happening here at John McEwen Reserve. Oh, sorry, the Frankie Lagana pitch.
I like it. It's all going on. World Cup. What's been going on?
My boys are still in it.
It's all going on. Very happy with the result this morning. It's been a big week in the round of 16 since Michael and I last touched on it last weekend. France... in World Cup fashion, I suppose, knocked off Argentina 4-3, and Uruguay knocked off Portugal 2-1. So we had two of the greats in Ronaldo and Messi out all on the same night.
That's it. Well, and a lot of people do know I have an Italian background, so when I say my boys, I'm also a Chelsea fan, so I mean Belgium.
Belgium. And he was on fire this morning, but I'll get back to him in a couple of moments. Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, does he have anything to do with rigging this World Cup at all? Because how on earth does Russia knock off Spain in penalties?
Do you know...
How did it get that far?
I honestly picked that. I did.
Really?
I picked it.
Wow.
I picked...
you would have made a killing.
So I'm trying to think now who plays who as well, because I'm pretty sure I picked an England-Belgium final.
Well, I hope it's an England-Belgium final only because I'd love nothing more than to see the Poms get done.
Oh.
I can't wait for Twitter to explode that it's still supposedly coming home, the World Cup trophy.
Oh, my days.
And I'd love nothing more than Belgium to knock them off and just knock the smug look off.
I don't even understand that coming home thing.
No, I don't get it either. I don't think it's been home since 1970, I think.
Look, I can understand if they've won the most amount of World Cups or something and they're saying it's coming back to us again. You haven't?
No, they're not even remotely close. They're not even in the same class as a Brazil or Uruguay or Argentina.
It's weird. I don't know. Uruguay won it the very first time, so then even I could understand them saying it's coming home.
That would make sense.
Just don't get it. But anyway.
Croatia, Denmark kicked us off, I think it was Monday morning, about 4 a.m. It went right through to about 7 a.m. in unbelievable fashion. The best penalty shootout I reckon I've seen in a very long time. The Danish goalkeeper, Schmeichel, managed to pull off a miracle save with only 2.5 minutes to go in extra time to send it to penalties, and for both keepers to save the first one, both teams to snag the next 2, and then both keepers to save the 4th penalty.
Yeah.
Scenes were going off in my car as I was driving to work Monday morning listening to the whole thing, and I couldn't contain myself.
The thing is, that's That's the exciting part, isn't it? Like
that is World Cup fever
Yeah.
at its finest. I'd hate to think what the two countries themselves were going through during the whole thing if that's what I was feeling here in Australia.
That's it. Well, I always say, like, I'd love the scores to be a 2-all or a 3-all. That would be amazing.
Oh, I have a thriller.
In the game, and that sends it to penalties. Because let's be honest, as much as football's a low-scoring game, you love seeing the goals.
Oh, that's right.
It's so hard to score a goal that when you see one, it's 9 times out of 10. It's like, how the heck did he pull that off?
Croatia snuck through there. Brazil easily accounted for Mexico, which there should have been no other arguments for that one. Game of the week, I would nearly call it, Japan and Belgium.
Oh, my days.
What a result. I had Wednesday off work or Tuesday off work when that was going on. I wasn't feeling the greatest. Had a bit of migraine. I didn't even watch the game. I spent all night staring at the roof. I couldn't watch TV, nothing. So when I checked my phone very briefly to find out the score, Japan were up 2-0, so I didn't really bother about it. And I checked it at the end of the game there, just after Belgium had snuck that third goal in with the final kick of the game to win 3-2 before.
Yeah, honestly, I mean,
what a game!
I didn't think Japan had it in them.
No, well, neither did I. I would have thought Belgium would have easily cruised past Japan and
you never
probably done
know.
it 3 or 4-0.
You never know as well. That may have been the mentality going into the game. So it just shows, look, they wouldn't have got this far if they didn't deserve to be there.
That's right, yep.
In saying that, though, France is the surprising one for me. I really didn't see them making it to the semi.
France done themselves in off their own bat, having knocked off Denmark in that last game to face Argentina, and I thought, well, that's stupid on your own behalf. If you know you're going to be facing Argentina, you'd want the other way round.
Yeah.
So they've done themselves a favour by putting them into there against Argentina, but to knock Argentina off really surprised me to make it through to the quarterfinals and that. But look, Sweden knocked off Switzerland, and England won in dramatic fashion the other morning against Colombia 1-1. But to then face Uruguay overnight at midnight, I thought about staying up, but I couldn't see any more than three-quarter time of the AFL, so there was no hope I was going to watch the midnight World Cup game. So to play Uruguay, I actually picked Uruguay to win 2-1. So for France to go through again this morning and pull out another surprise and win 2-0.
And look, as everyone knows, I'm back in Belgium.
Yeah, we're still riding the Belgium
train.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm excited to see no Pogba.
Yeah, I think everyone's now excited to see no Pogba.
See ya.
Go on, skis. Bye. Don't come Monday.
Oh, that's it. Show them the don't come Mondays.
Oh, but Belgium, I suppose you could nearly say easily accounted for Brazil this morning, although it was the first goal did come from an own goal. It did come off the Belgium head first before coming off the Brazilian elbow and then into the back of the net. But, I still thought they played much better football from the highlights that I've seen than Brazil did overnight. So the World Cup favourite technically are now out.
Yeah.
So personally, I would nearly have Belgium as the World Cup favourite, which is probably where I would have had it.
I'm kind of wishing I had have placed me bets early on, because who knows where I'd be sitting now.
You'd be sitting really pretty.
Yeah.
Well, tonight I'm going to hang around for the midnight game, whether I have a snooze first or not. SBS, or if you're really desperate, Flopta Sport have still got some sort of coverage going on their mobile phone app. Sweden are taking on England at midnight tonight, and can Russia somehow knock off Croatia at 4 a.m?
Do you know what? This is what I've said about this Russia-Croatia game. This is more than football. This is personal.
Oh, this is now war.
The Russians and the Croats aren't friends.
At all, no.
So it will be very interesting to see that game.
4 a.m. it could be on for young and old.
It could either be over really quickly or it could stretch out quite some time. So yeah, I think that'll be a good game.
Michael sent me in a message here. He's hoping Sweden get up, and so I don't know.
This is the thing. We need England
need
to make it right to the end,
and just lose
and then
right
just
at
crush
the
them.
final straw. I'd love nothing more. That sounds criminal, doesn't it? We sound
It's
like
just
criminals.
like Liverpool.
That's right.
Champions League. That's it. think you've got it. You've got it. No,
this goes back
you
to
never
St
had
Kilda
it.
of 2009 where we snuck through all the way. Thought, this is our year, and got to grand final day. Geelong beat us. I'd love nothing more than to see a Belgium-England final and finish it off in dramatic fashion
and just
like that.
see the boys laughing.
Watch them cry.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the only reason I watched that 2010 grand final.
Yeah.
We won't cry. So we've got Russia taking on Croatia 4 a.m. like I said. Sweden taking on England at midnight tonight, and then on the 10th of July, so I think that's about Wednesday-ish, France take on Belgium at 4 a.m.
No,
So
look, I'm not going to lie.
I'll be up for that.
I'm happy for highlights.
You're happy for it. Well, I told everyone I was getting up to watch the Belgian game this morning, and I managed to somehow sleep through my alarms.
Well, the amount of times the alarm's gone off at 4 a.m, and I've thought I'm running late for work, and Matt's gone, no, it's so I can go watch the soccer. I'm like, I'm going to kick you.
Out.
But, yeah, one thing I will say as well with this World Cup, the games at the start compared to now, quality.
It's been probably and described internationally as the best World Cup of the modern era.
I mean,
the quality of games has been second to none.
Your early on games, look, I probably did see a little bit of scrappiness, a little bit of, you can see which countries still needed to refine their playing style. And I mean, Australia's obviously thrown in there because
we can't score a goal from anywhere other than the penalty box.
It's, what's that? Made the World Cup, here's a new coach. I mean, there's no... That's where we stand with that. But you could now see these countries that have made it further on, and you just see the quality. And I'm really, really loving the quality of games, the quality of goals, the way that... And these clubs now, these teams now have worked together and been living together and playing together and training together for an extended period of time. So you're seeing them kind of tick along together and just get better at each game they play.
Now, I can't think whether it was from overnight, I can't think it was the Brazilian goalkeeper or the Uruguayan goalkeeper. I have to double check me facts after this one. But any goalkeeper or defender in AFL, to mark the same standard, any defender or goalkeeper who can get two hands to the football and want to just push it away rather than take possession of the ball to stop it, especially soccer, to go into the goal, and it comes off the top of your fingers and then into the back of the net for a goal, don't come Monday.
That's a ref sub.
That's right. That was huge this morning. It was a defining moment in the game, and probably now they're not coming back to play on Wednesday morning. So it's anyone who can get two hands to the ball has to stop it there with them.
And that's the thing as well. I mean, a lot of the time keepers get the blame for goals, and 99% of the time
not
it's
their fault.
The 10 players in front of them that have made a mistake somewhere. Something like that.
This ball come in from outside the box this morning. It was a long ball in. He had plenty of time to look at it, plenty of time to watch it, and he still decided to just try and push it. And I went, son, that is your own fault.
Yeah.
Don't look anywhere else. Do not blame anyone. You need to cop that solely on the chin, and that is exactly why you're not going through to the next stage.
Don't come Monday.
Don't come Monday. It's rough, but I don't play fair. And I tell you what, we've got 90 seconds, Bianca, and the final thing I want to touch on, and I'm really getting sick of watching it, and I know it's the only blight on the sport, but Neymar and his horrendous diving tactics and hooking and carrying on.
Do you know what needs to happen?
A red card.
The very first one that he does, the referee needs to say, right, come here. You do that again, you're going.
Go on. See you later. Yeah.
Because we've got the VAR, we can see what's going on. Stop.
It's the only downside to what is a fantastic sport, and that's why a lot of people...
That's why I don't watch... Well, and I know he's in France now, but that's why I don't watch Spanish football, is because your Real Madrids and that they dive a lot. And
there's more diving on the soccer pitch than there is at the Olympic swimming pool.
Oh, it's
terrible to say, but that's...
And I hate it. And I think that's a real Aussie gripe. The Aussies hate it. But yeah.
We're a real cup of concrete country. And, that's just not what's happening overseas, but what do you do? Bianca, tonight I'll get you quick tips. We've got 15 seconds. Sweden or England?
England.
And Russia, Croatia?
Russia.
Oh, Putin's on that one. We're going to have a chat again next weekend.
And GB Sun's 7 o'clock tonight.
Tonight, make sure you get down to the Frankie